Hey everybody, it's the coach, and this is Madden 20 on EA Sports. Up next, we've got what ought to be a great matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Godden. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
Set to go now in Week 6 of the NFL season, and we are underway on EA Sports. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here comes the Packers offense now onto the field. And we get a glance here at their leader, the man who will be calling the plays under center.
And this could be a whole lot of fun because if his game plan goes into effect early, we're going to see some shots downfield, aren't we? What did he talk to us about? Stretching the field. Wants to open things up for not just his receivers, but for anything underneath.
Well, that was the theme, the front page of the sports section. What the columnists write, possible air raid. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the coaches view that, right? Who gave what game plan? I think it's pretty obvious, though. That'll help them win.
They'll get 9 there as that sets them up better for third down. An early test for this defense. Here we go on 3rd and inches. Operating from the gun. Vernon throwing middle, and it's complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. It's a gain of 12, and the Packers have the first. Throwing on 1st down. Vernon nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front. Nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
In a blink of an eye, that happened fast, and a big sack. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he's going to go down again. And that is the 3rd sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Yeah, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game, I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10.
15-1.
They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. Oh, he's going to take a shot. He's got a man. Complete. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. An excellent pickup of 34 yards.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that one?
That was great. And what our camera missed was the fist pump from the sideline after that catch. They're fired out. That's a big game.
That's it, baby. We're going to work.
And our Vikings.
Down. 90 Wolf.
Well, He challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player. You threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
It's certainly worth noting he's now one catch away from 600. He's at 599. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. From 10 yards out, as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. And in the red zone, I guess this is why you have a guy like that on your roster.
Without a doubt, and if you have him, you use him because he's a guy who's going to win just about every time. I don't care what the coverage is.
And there's going to be a stoppage here. The booth wants to take another look at this potential touchdown. It took them an extra look, but they found out it is a touchdown indeed. The official says this one counts. Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. There he is, the man taking the snaps under center, heading out for the next possession. And maybe he's starting to wave the white flag a little bit. He's playing pretty well. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. On 2nd down, this is Harris. And an alley to run. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits, and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete. And this passing game's whole offense really didn't show up in the loss last week, and it hasn't started all that great here either.
Yeah, and they can't let that incompletion become an uh-oh moment. Like, oh boy, here we go again, just like last week. Each game is its own entity, treated as such.
Here's J.K. Scott now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. Now Sanders. It'll go as a 50-yard punt, 6 yards on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So here are the Vikings to take over. They're working on a 4-game winning streak, and they lead this one as well right now as they start 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Looking left sideline, it's complete. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. A good pickup there, 26 yards. So into Packer territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 46. He'll look to throw. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of this first quarter. 6-0 our score after 1. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. He's going to air one out. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Picked off down near the 5. And he will bring this all the way up to the 30-yard line.
Oh, and that's a nice job defensively to get a piece of the football. He's going to pop it into the air, and then it's the tip drill. And good concentration by him to react to it and pull in the interception.
It's just me and you. It's just me.
They'll start on the ground with Harris. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Here's 2nd and 8. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Back to throw. Vernon looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Tyler. Good defense holds him to only a yard, and it'll be 4th down.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And Sanders now to return. It's a nifty return of 29 yards. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. Of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception, but they did put together... That's caught inside the 20. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. His 2nd touchdown of the game, giving him 12 on the season. And the Vikings get the quick strike touchdown. Now he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the 2nd quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
And we can break that scoring drive down pretty easily. One play, a long touchdown pass into the end zone. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Packer offense now ready to get back onto the field. The results for them so far not that great. Well, not good at all. 3 drives, 3 punts.
Yeah, and now what you're doing is you're looking at your play sheet. You're trying to figure out what you're going against defensively. I wonder, are they showing them something they haven't seen or anticipated in practice, and maybe that's throwing them off? Or do they just have to go to a different play calling section and try and run some offense that way?
Off the play fake. Vernon. He's going to air one out. And that's caught inside the 30. It's a big play that time for the Packers. 51 yards. So barely time to catch our breath. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the red zone. Now a first down carry for Harris. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. The defense showing some anger after giving up the big play. This time they'll lose 1 or 2. On 2nd down now, it's Harris. They'll be brought down at the 21 after a pickup of 4.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on run downs. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the 2nd level.
To throw on 3rd down. Vernon over the middle, complete. That's Tyler. And he's going to be marked down short of the first down, right around the 17. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. So the drive stalls out inside the 15-yard line, but they do get 3.
And I've talked with enough players nowadays that when they have these types of kicks, that no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point, piece of cake. Because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. But kicking a field goal from that distance, just give him confidence and let him knock it through.
And now out comes Minnesota. And last time the formula was pretty simple. 1 play drive, long pass. That maybe they just want to do that again, right?
And that's exactly how you want to draw things up. Whether it's on your grease board, right, in your playbook, 1 play drive is exactly what you want on offense. What they have to be careful of is not having a letdown. It was real easy last time. They can't expect that going forward.
And we'll see if it's that easy here. Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. He's going to look deep down the field. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Looking to throw. And got his man complete. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. His way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. So not only is that his 3rd touchdown catch of the game, he's done it here in the first half.
I'm not sure defensively what they're going to come up with to slow him down, because already we're seeing him run past, over, through guys in order to make these catches. And being able to try and shut him down at this stage of the game, it's going to take a lot of effort. So maybe it'll open things up for some other people.
Well, they better figure something out, and soon. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's just been looking for some space. Yeah, I'm not going to pin it on him or the offensive line, but they need to get this run game going better.
Sometimes you just have to credit the defense. They came in with a plan themselves. So I think now you try and mix things up a little bit. Get the ball in the hands of some other people, find some other playmakers.
And the defense loses him. It's complete. The 20, 10, and mark him down all the way inside the Minnesota 10. A big play there on the catch and run. 73 yards. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the 2nd of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. This is 1st and goal, and a golden chance to get a score back here before halftime. From the gun, Vernon, and he's going to be dropped back at the 15-yard line.
I'm starting to wonder if this offensive line just simply doesn't like him. I mean, they've given up 6 sacks in this game. He's had nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and obviously nowhere to hide.
And all those sacks in the first half, this is just complete domination. The Vikings going to signal for their first of their timeouts, as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. This is Harris on the draw. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts, as they get it right at the 30-second mark of this first half. And his kick is indeed good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the second half.
This is taken at his 4. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. You've got less than 30 seconds left here in the half. You're well on your own side of the field. What are we doing here, Coach Davis?
Well, I'm trying something on 1st down. And it's something that's safe. It's something that's been done many times before. A lot of people say it's not even worth trying, but I'm running a draw. I'm running a screen. I'm seeing if something pops. And if it does, that can alter my strategy and potentially get me some points. And if it doesn't work, well, then you just run the clock out and go to the locker room.
They're going to look to throw. He's going to fire one deep left side. This is caught inside the 15. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. That one goes for 30 yards. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now back to throw. That's complete right around the 8. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. 2nd and 3. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. A bit of a surprise. They're going for it with 2 ticks remaining. No sign of the field goal unit. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. From the left hash, should be a fairly easy one here. And his kick is right there. It's good, and that will do it. We now proceed to the start of the second half. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. This is taken at the 3. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. A gain of 6 there on first. 6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. 2nd and 4. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
Go! 90 Wolf. Check. Check hot route. Hot.
From the gun on 3rd down. McLaughlin, throw left side complete. It's Barry. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. So into Packer territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 47. Operating from the gun. McLaughlin firing quickly here, and that's complete. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch. Good for 8 yards. 2nd and 2. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 15. Defensively that time, they were in zone coverage. As a rookie QB, what lesson can you learn there?
Well, understand this. You saw zone in college, and the defensive backs reacted, but they don't react like they do on this level. So when they're in zone and they see the ball coming to them, they'll react at least a half a second faster. You've got to know where you want to go with the ball and be decisive with it. Otherwise, the end result can be something you don't like.
On first down, Vernon got his man complete over the middle. It's Tyler. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Harris. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues.
If these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they got to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
From the gun on 3rd down, Vernon. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll be corralled right around the 34.
Here we go.
13 yards, first down, Packers.
Did you see that route the way that I did? I thought he was trying to get deep.
Yeah, that
first.
wasn't the first option.
No, it came off of that guy, the deep guy, and came underneath on the drag. Completed it very well.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
Looking to throw. Vernon. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's third down. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Off play action. Vernon. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
Looks like another empty possession here, partner, and I don't think with 3 scores down in the third quarter, they can truly afford any more the rest of the way.
No, especially the way their offense is sputtering. I think you're exactly right. They got to find some answers quickly. It's taken to the 26. Nice job on the Turn there, 16 yards. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. And now out comes Minnesota. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. And this shot downfield on 2nd down is brought in. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. A big play there. 51 yards. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. Solid response that time by a young quarterback. Last drive, interception. This drive, the touchdown pass.
I like how you described it, solid, because you don't get extra kudos for bouncing back if you're going to be a big-time quarterback. You're supposed to do that. But at the same time, when you're a rookie, that's not guaranteed, is it? Sometimes they hang their heads and they go in the tank a little bit. Not in this case. Bounced back, took his team downfield, and threw a touchdown pass.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. Now a toss left side into the hands of his tight end. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down. The Packers on 3rd down. They've struggled to the tune of 2 for 8 so far. This will be 3rd and 6. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 14 yards, good for a Packer 1st down. This quarterback now, 5 straight completions here in this 2nd half. 1st and 10. From the gun, Vernon, nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. It'll be a pickup of 15 as that'll lead to 3rd down. The Packers on 3rd down. They've converted a third of their opportunities, 3 for 9. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. Back to throw. Vernon. And this is going to turn into another 1st down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 39.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
On 1st and 10, Vernon. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. And they weren't in zone coverage, they were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
On the draw, it's Harris. And they'll get this just to the 47, 1-yard gain. 9th play of the drive now on 3rd and a country mile. Operating from the gun, Vernon, and he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down. Defensively, you look at the numbers. Another incomplete pass that we just saw, and they're under 200 yards passing for the game, so they've done their job on that side of the ball.
Yeah, recently I was actually working a game where a quarterback had a streak of 5 straight games without a 200-yard game. And that was a big talk, both in his town and amongst his team. How do we get the passing game going? So big credit to them, holding them under 200 today.
Throwing on 1st down, McLaughlin. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. 25 yards that time. That's the number 2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage. And tell you what, a few more plays like that, he won't be number 2 for long.
But that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be number 1.
On first down, McLaughlin. And he's got his favorite target yet again. It's complete. But he is out of bounds inside the 35. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
Well, go ahead and throw the ball, man. You got the big lead. You got the clock on your side. Obviously, they don't care much about the feelings of the other team, do they?
Well, I was going to say, you better run to the locker room pretty quick after this one.
But right now, maybe they're just looking at it from the fantasy perspective. More points for everyone if they win big.
Looking for more there on first down, but this throw downfield, incomplete. Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. And a great return as he's up close to the 40-yard line. CD, I know it's just his 2nd year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, 2nd year, as you noted, on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
14 yards, good for a Packer first down. On the delay, here's Harris. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. 2nd and 13. In trouble, and he's taken down. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 30. And they will take over at the 29-yard line.
So many times we end a game, and as we're recapping it, we're talking about what offenses did and how they won the game. Let's flip this one over. The defense, they frustrated the offense the entire ball game. That's why they're walking out of here with a victory.
And they're going to love to walk out of here with that as their final act, that interception. Good way for them to end it. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. Showed off the arm strength there, but to no avail. 2nd down. Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 29. 2nd and 10. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on. 3rd down. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Looking to throw. McLaughlin. There's that man again. It's complete. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. That one looks like he'll throw here. From left side, it's complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on 1st down. Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
Had the right idea there, trying to throw it to the sideline, but he led him just a little bit too much, trying to get it out to his receiver. Ends up falling to the ground, incomplete.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down.
We got it.
They'll look to throw. This is caught. And they corral him just a couple yards shy of the end zone. The Vikings going to use their 3rd and final timeout. It'll be their 3rd and final timeout, so as they talk things over, we'll step aside. Back to throw again. And this will be caught. And the carnage continues. It's another touchdown. And for them, this train, it just keeps rolling, doesn't it? Well on their way to yet another victory.
Yeah, it's almost a runaway, isn't it? And you just wonder how anyone could stop this. They got full momentum going, full confidence going. But it's not just their own confidence that's leading them. It's the lack of confidence against their opponents now because they see them coming and think, we've got no shot to beat this team.
This fielded at the 2. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line.
Let's go.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in a game like this and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something.
Into double coverage and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 36. And they take possession of the football and have it at the 36-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They have the dream scenario you hope for coming into the game. Just one kneel here, and this game should be over.
And it's always the final play of preparation each week. The practicing of the kneel-down formation, the victory formation. We've got a game in hand, and that's all they're going to want to do now, to put someone back deep just in case something goes haywire. But all in all, take the snap, kneel down, and shake hands. Yes, get out of there.
So the final seconds have ticked away in this Minnesota victory, and they were really helped by their defense, forcing 3 turnovers.
I think what we saw in this one, today's defense. And what I mean by that is in the old days, pitching shutouts was big time. That was paramount. But the big thing was holding people down, holding down their yardage, right? Don't let them throw the ball through the air and gain a lot of... But now, it's about taking the ball away. Taking away possessions, getting the ball back for their offense. They had 3 takeaways in this one, and it led them to victory.
So for Minnesota, they improved to 5-0 now on the young...